Welcome to this deep dive. Have you ever noticed how your past seems to, well, shape what you see? What really grabs your attention right now?
Mm.
It's almost like we're filtering everything through this lens made up of, everything that's happened before, often without even realizing it.
That's a really great way to put it. It touches on something fundamental, doesn't it? How our past experiences are actively, participating in how we perceive the world now.
Right.
It's not just about what's objectively there, but about what resonates inside us based on our own unique history.
Exactly. And to dig into that, I think it's useful to think about how our minds actually sort of organize all this information coming at us, especially memory.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild how a totally normal moment now can just unlock these vivid echoes from way back.
Absolutely. Our minds are constantly looking for structure, trying to figure out what matters, what should stand out. Think about it like focus.
Okay.
What we pull into the foreground, what becomes the main thing we're paying attention to, that's often really deeply influenced by past experiences and the emotions tied to them.
Okay, like imagine this. You're walking down a busy street, right?
Right.
And suddenly you just stop. You're completely fixated on a kid holding a bright red balloon. And for that second, it's like everything else just fades away.
Yeah.
You might even feel like you're, I don't know, back in your own childhood for a flash.
That's a perfect illustration of what in Gestalt psychology we call the figure-ground relationship.
Figure ground. Right.
The red balloon becomes the sharp focus of your attention, while the busy street, all the noise and people, that recedes into the ground. But it's more than just seeing it. That balloon probably triggers a whole cascade of related memories, feelings from your own past. Suddenly, that past experience feels intensely present, very real.
Wow.
So for you, in that moment, that child with the balloon isn't just some random thing you saw. It's like a key unlocking part of your personal history.
It's like the present is a doorway then. Just swings open unexpectedly onto the past. And like you said, there's often a really strong feeling attached. Maybe someone feels this wave of anxiety whenever they're in a dimly lit room. There's no real danger now. But maybe it connects back to being a kid, feeling scared and alone in a dark bedroom.
Precisely. That specific past event has left a lasting emotional mark, an imprint.
Yeah.
So for that person, the dim light becomes the figure. It instantly activates that old fear, that anxiety. It kind of overshadows the current reality, pulling them back into that old emotional state.
So the past experience is actually coloring the present perception.
It's actively shaping it, yes. That's a key thing to grasp.
It makes me wonder about those unresolved things from the past. Sometimes people talk about unfinished business. Does that play a big role here? Like our minds have these loose ends, these emotional cycles that never quite closed, and they keep messing with how we see things now.
That's a really key insight. There's this idea, the Garnick effect. It basically suggests we remember incomplete things, like tasks, better than finished ones.
Oh, interesting.
And, psychologically speaking, unresolved emotional stuff, old wounds or tensions, they can act in a similar way. They create these sort of open loops in our mind.
Open loops.
So for Sarah, let's call her Sarah, in the dimly lit room, that situation might unconsciously feel like a chance for her psyche to revisit that old tension from childhood.
To try and fix it or understand it.
Maybe process it, find some kind of resolution. It's like the present becomes a stage for the past to replay itself in this subtle search for completion.
That's fascinating. And it makes you think how these unconscious drives might even show up in our choices, our preferences. Well, imagine an architect, let's call him Mark. He's really drawn to designing buildings with huge expansive windows. Loves them.
Okay.
And maybe it turns out he grew up in this really cramped place with tiny windows, always felt kind of hemmed in.
Ah, right. So what's compelling there is how Mark's current passion for big windows could be this unconscious attempt to compensate.
Compensate for the feeling of being confined.
Exactly. The big windows become the figure in his creative work. They symbolize freedom, openness, maybe everything he felt he lacked back then. It's a way, maybe on a deep level, of rewriting that old narrative through what he does now.
So it's not just that we have memories, but they're active forces. They're constantly interacting with now, being reshaped by now. It's not like a dusty archive.
Not at all. It's much more like a kaleidoscope, Yeah. Every new experience shifts the pieces around a bit, creates new patterns, new meanings. But it's important to realize this dynamic isn't always, positive.
How do you mean?
Well, when very strong, maybe traumatic memories become dominant, they can really distort how we see the present.
Okay.
Think about someone who was in a serious car accident during a downpour. Years later, just seeing rain hitting the windshield might trigger intense panic.
Even if they're perfectly safe now? Sitting in their driveway or something?
Right. In that moment, the rain becomes this overwhelming figure. It completely blots out the safety of the present.
It really shows that competition in our minds, doesn't it, between past and present, and sometimes the past just barges in.
It can assert itself with incredible force. It's this constant balancing act going on in our awareness. But here's the crucial part. Becoming more aware of this figure ground dynamic.
Just noticing it.
Noticing what's grabbing your attention and maybe asking why it's grabbing your attention. That's the start. Understanding how your past is playing out now. And just that understanding can make the past feel less like this, uncontrollable force.
So instead of automatically pushing those feelings or memories away when they get triggered.
Which is often our first instinct.
Right. Maybe there's value in actually leaning into them, exploring them a bit with curiosity. Like the person with the red balloon, if they let themselves feel what that memory brings up.
Instead of just brushing it off as a weird moment.
Yeah. It could become more than just a random interruption.
Precisely. By consciously engaging with the feelings tied to that memory, rather than resisting, you open up the chance to transform it. It stops being just this disruptive thing and becomes potentially a source of self-awareness, deeper understanding. The balloon, then, isn't just a balloon. It's a symbol, maybe a portal to exploring some old longing or an unresolved feeling from way back then. When you engage like that, the past doesn't dictate the present anymore. It might even enrich it.
This leads us towards a bigger picture, doesn't it? Thinking about memory, almost like the gestalt of memory. Not just isolated bits popping up, but these larger patterns, and how our minds always seem to be pushing towards wholeness.
Completion. Exactly. Gestalt psychology sees our whole experience, thoughts, feelings, sensations, memories, as this interconnected field.
Okay.
And within this constantly shifting field, that figure-ground relationship is always at play, often influenced by those unresolved past tensions we were just talking about.
And the gestalt itself, that's the meaningful whole, the thing our minds want to create or finish.
That's the idea. We strive for coherent, meaningful wholes. And when something disrupts that feeling of wholeness, it leaves these open loops we mentioned.
Which demand attention.
They seem to, yes, until they're somehow integrated or resolved. Think back to Sarah and her anxiety in dim rooms.
Okay.
That uneasy feeling is like an incomplete gestalt. It probably comes from that childhood emotional experience. So every time she's in a similar setting, her psyche is, in a sense, trying to bring that original, maybe fragmented experience towards some kind of completion.
It's like our minds just want the simplest, clearest explanation for things. Is that the idea of pregnance?
That's part of it, yes. The law of pregnance suggests we tend towards the simplest, most stable, most coherent perception possible. We unconsciously try to fit new experiences into familiar patterns.
So Sarah connecting darkness with fear. That's her mind finding a coherent story.
It creates a narrative that makes sense of the feeling based on past experience. Darkness equals fear. Because of that time I felt alone and maybe punished in the dark. It feels logical, even if it limits her now.
And this links to that drive for closure, too. Our minds wanting to fill in the gaps, emotionally or cognitively.
Yes, very much so. We have this inherent tendency to resolve ambiguities, to complete patterns. That's why unfinished business, especially stuff with strong emotions attached, can have such a powerful whole.
What creates an imbalance?
Exactly. It disrupts our sense of psychological equilibrium. And to get that balance back, the mind tends to focus on or even fixate on the source of the disruption until some kind of resolution feels like it's been reached.
Which explains why traumatic memories can be so incredibly persistent.
They represent a significant disruption to that sense of wholeness and safety.
And thinking about Mark, the architect again, his thing with the windows feels even richer now. It's not just liking light. It could be read as this deep, subconscious push for closure around feeling confined as a kid. The big windows are a much more satisfying gestalt for him.
And you can even bring in the concept of isomorphism here.
Iso what now?
Isomorphism. It suggests a kind of structural similarity, a correspondence between our inner world, our psychological landscape, and the external reality we perceive or create.
So Mark's window designs, they're not just reflecting his desire for space, but mirroring his inner need.
They could be mirroring and reinforcing it. His internal experience finds an external expression, and that expression might, in turn, reinforce the internal feeling of openness he seeks. It's a dynamic interplay.
So when we try really hard to avoid painful memories, the things that make us uncomfortable, are we actually getting in the way of this natural push for closure?
From a Gestalt perspective, yes, absolutely. Avoidance keeps the figure, the unresolved memory, the difficult feeling pushed into the background, out of focus.
So it can't be processed.
It prevents it from being fully seen, felt, understood, and ultimately integrated into the larger picture of your life. Think about the person avoiding driving in the rain after the accident.
Right.
That avoidance seems protective, but it keeps the rain locked in as this dominant, scary figure. It maintains the disruption.
So the path forward involves shifting from avoiding to engaging, consciously bringing that figure into view, but maybe with curiosity instead of fear.
That's the essence of it. Cultivating awareness, mindful awareness, gently turning towards these experiences.
Right.
Trying to understand the original context, maybe see patterns they reveal in your life now, tuning into the underlying needs or emotions wrapped up in them.
So Sarah exploring her anxiety in dim light. It's not just about the dark room.
It might uncover deeper themes, maybe about vulnerability or a need for connection that was unmet back then when she felt isolated.
And those moments of insight, the aha moments when things just click, how important are they in resolving these gestalts?
Hugely important. Insight allows you to see the memory, the situation, in a completely new light. It reveals connections, possibilities you hadn't seen before.
Like Sarah realizing her childhood room wasn't just a place of punishment.
But maybe also a place where she learned to be resilient, found inner resources to cope with loneliness.
Yes.
Reframing it like that can drastically change its emotional weight in the present.
And it sounds like this is an ongoing thing, cultivating awareness, having insights. It transforms how we see things, gives us more agency.
It leads to a greater sense of intentionality, definitely. And it underscores that this isn't about erasing the past. You can't.
Right.
It's about engaging with it differently, embracing its complexity, understanding its influence, and consciously choosing how you relate to it now.
Which brings up a really interesting question. Maybe the problem isn't the past itself, but how we're holding on to it right now. Perhaps it's less about needing to resolve every single thing and more about fundamentally rethinking our relationship with memories altogether.
That's a profound shift, isn't it? Think of your memories like fragments of this huge flowing river that is your life.
Okay.
If you cling to them too tightly, treat them like fixed, separate objects, you can end up creating this very rigid, maybe limiting story about who you are.
Like holding just a vial of water from the ocean and thinking that is the ocean.
Exactly. That single memory is part of the whole. But holding it in isolation can keep you feeling defined by just that one piece.
So when Sarah reinterprets her childhood room, sees strength there, alongside the fear, she's not erasing the memory.
Not at all.
She's transforming its meaning, its power over her now.
Absolutely. And this really points to the creative nature of perception that's so central in Gestalt thinking. You're not just passively receiving info.
We're actively building our reality.
Through your awareness, through those figure ground choices your mind makes, constantly, often unconsciously, you have perceptual agency.
But surely there are limits, right? We can't just reinterpret everything away. Those memories, they are still part of our story. They give us continuity.
Oh, absolutely. The past will always, always be part of you. The aim isn't eradication that's impossible and probably undesirable. It's integration.
Integration.
Weaving it into your present in a way that allows for growth, for moving forward. This connects to that Gestalt idea of the here and now.
Which isn't just this tiny split second.
No, it's this dynamic meeting point where your past experiences, your present reality, and your hopes or intentions for the future all intersect. Resolution, in this view, is about finding balance within that dynamic intersection.
And Mark's architecture again. It becomes this ongoing conversation with his past, doesn't it?
Beautifully put.
Those windows aren't just erasing the small ones from his childhood. They're like liminal spaces, connecting the memory of confinement with the possibility of openness. The past's imprint is still there, even in the transformation.
It's that inherent tension, that duality in being human, the pull between our past and our future, between continuity and change. That's often the engine of creativity, of personal growth.
We're shaped by where we've been, but we're always reaching for something new.
Constantly.
It makes the past feel like a receding horizon. You know, it's always there, influencing us subtly, but you can never quite grasp it as it was. And that can bring up all sorts of feelings. Connection, sure, but maybe melancholy too. Wonder.
That sense of the unresolved horizon can be incredibly potent. It makes you ask, doesn't it, whether the goal should be to tie up every single loose end from the past.
Or is there maybe some beauty, some value, and a certain amount of incompleteness in the unresolved tensions themselves?
Perhaps. It's a deep question to ponder.
So, thinking about all this, what are the key things we should be asking ourselves about our own lives, our own pasts?
I think the most vital step is to turn inward. Really look at the figures that tend to dominate your awareness. What memories, what experiences keep surfacing?
Pay attention to what grabs you.
Yes, and ask, why these? Why do they seem to carry so much weight? What stories are they telling me about myself, about my life? And crucially, how might I consciously choose to re-engage with those stories? Maybe even rewrite parts of them.
It reminds me of that image of a tree. Its roots go deep into the past, drawing stability, nourishment. But it's also reaching up towards the light, towards new growth. We're shaped by our roots, but not solely defined by them.
Exactly. Those figures in your memory, however powerful they feel sometimes, they are also teachers.
Teachers.
They can offer huge insights into your needs, your vulnerabilities, yes, but also your strengths, your resilience. And while they'll always be part of your history, they don't have to dictate your present or your future. Your reality is shaped by the whole field of your awareness and the choices you make within it.
So really, the first step is just noticing, paying attention to those figures, those patterns from the past, and starting to ask yourself, how do I want to relate to this now?
That conscious questioning, that deliberate engagement, that's where transformation begins.
It's about shifting from being passively shaped by the past.
To becoming an active participant in shaping its meaning and influence in your life today.
Thank you. This has been such a fascinating exploration, really diving into how our past and present weave together, especially through that Gestalt lens.
It's been a really rich conversation. Thank you.
For me, the big takeaway is that powerful reminder. Yes, our past shapes us profoundly, but our awareness, our ability to interpret, that gives us real agency. Agency in how the past influences us right now and going forward.
Precisely. And as we cultivate that deeper understanding of figure and ground in our own experience, we can start to consciously shift our focus. And in doing that, we actually participate in rewriting the narratives that might have been guiding us unconsciously.
So maybe take some time this week. Just reflect on the figures that stand out in your own memories. What stories do they tell?
And maybe consider this. How might consciously shifting your focus, right here in the present, subtly begin to change the landscape of your past as you hold it in your awareness?
It's definitely a continuous journey of discovery, isn't it? Understanding ourselves. Thanks again for diving deep with us. We really hope exploring these ideas offers some fresh perspectives on your own unique experiences.